Good evening and welcome to the 504. It is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. Sometimes there are signs of abuse before a relationship turns violent, but many women don't even realize they're being abused and others think they can fix the problem. TeeJ Mercer has just written her third book. It is called The Six-Figure Battered Wife, My Path to Resilience. And she's here to share her story of being in an abusive relationship and give us the signs to identify an unhealthy relationship. Now, she was in town yesterday and we are so happy to have her back on the 504. Welcome back to the show.
I'm loving the 504. I'm glad to be back.
Yeah, we are so glad to have you here. Congrats on the new book.
Yeah, thank you. It's been a ride.
I dove into this one. You sent me a little excerpt.
Yeah.
Wow. I couldn't put it down. I really was like, I'm just going to read a couple of sentences, get through the interview. No.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is surprising.
When you meet me and you realize I'm this walking explanation
you
point
really
and
are.
A bottle of energy,
you are.
You wouldn't know that I'd almost lost my life several times.
Yeah.
At the hands of my then husband.
And what made you want to share the story?
Because I found, Sheba, that there are so many women like me who are quiet about this, who are silent about this, and they don't even realize it's happening to them. And the thing is, verbal and emotional abuse almost always precedes the violence. And in fact, a woman is 70 times more likely to be killed a few weeks after she leaves her abuser. So I wanted to actually wake up women sooner so that I can wake them up in the verbal and emotional stage before it escalates to the violence.
Gotcha. And it seemed like it was hard for you from the part I read because you were super successful in your own life. As you said, you have positive energy, you're a happy person. The book is called Six Figures, so you lay it out for us. You were doing fine in life. So did that kind of make you ashamed, or do you feel like it just fought with the stereotype of what you thought an abused woman was?
A little bit of both, because it was, you know, I coined the phrase, I educated and successified my way into denial. I graduated top of my class at Howard University. I'm working on some of the biggest shows on television. My producers are booking me months ahead to work on their show. And so what is going wrong that I can't figure out why I am making my husband so upset? And then it is the shame that I am being treated like this on a regular basis, being called out my name, having a tape measure wrapped around my throat, and the only thing that saved my life was that it broke. Being called you dirty bee, that's why you can't have children. And so it's that edge of you trying to figure out what's happening to me, because I have no frame of reference for this. This didn't happen in my home. So I'm like, how do I figure this out? But then a woman who is successful and high earning and high achieving, we don't like to quit. Failure is not an option. So I cannot be successful in Hollywood and then failing in my marriage. That just is not going to go down.
Right.
Yeah.
Kind of trapped yourself there. All right. So you are going to help other ladies who are in your position. As you said, you've gotten out of that relationship and moved on.
Yeah.
Which we're very thankful for. So number one, you're going to go through crazy.
Yes. The 5 signs you're sleeping next to crazy, because so many women think that they are the ones that's crazy. They cannot figure this out. And the fact of the matter, they aren't crazy. They're just sleeping next to crazy.
All right. And this is how we know. So number one, crafty. What does that mean?
Crazy is an acronym. C, is he crafty in making the irrational seem rational? Tawan, I hit you, or TeeJ, I'm Tawan too, that's my first name. But Tawan, I hit you with my left fist. So imagine what would happen if I hit you with my right fist. Now, on the surface, you think about it like that's a little true, because if you're right-handed, you're going to do more damage, right? But you shouldn't be hitting me in the first place.
With either fist.
But the way they defend it and they come at it, it just makes you go, well, wait a minute, that's kind of true, but that's crazy, you know? So that's the C. R, does he refuse to accept responsibility for his actions? Tawan, if you hadn't said that, then you wouldn't have set me off. We need to make sure that you don't set me off. There's all these other reasons. There's never ownership from him of, no, you shouldn't be calling me out my name. No, you shouldn't be swinging at me. He refuses to accept responsibility. A, does he assume the role of sole decision maker? Sheba, I came home from work one day and there were gigantic cranes in my backyard. Now I live in LA, so palm trees are around my pool. There were cranes lifting all the palm trees from around my pool. Now, I knew nothing about that. He had unilaterally made that decision. Yeah. So assuming responsibility for all the decisions. Z, does he zero in on your mistakes, your flaws, your insecurities? It's never about him. Nothing he has ever done in his life is his fault. But you can make a mistake 4 months ago and he's still gonna bring it up. He's always zeroing in on your mistakes. And then finally, the why. Does he yank at the mental, physical, and spiritual stability of your life? You can never get comfortable because here's the thing about abusers. To the outside world, they're very charismatic. They think, they have people thinking they love you. You are the greatest thing since sliced bread. But behind closed doors, you are every kind of name under the sun. So you never can get comfortable in the compliments in the public because behind closed doors, it's on and popping. Yeah.
That is terrible. So what did it take for you to finally leave? Because the chapter I read, y'all were physically fighting. The tape measure was around your neck. He was calling your names. At what point do you say, okay, that's it, I'm done?
Well, I want to explain, first of all, and make it very clear, it's an escalation with the abuse. So the verbal, it starts out with constructive criticism that just gets meaner. So there's this escalation before it gets to that point. But I'm embarrassed to say, not embarrassed that I'm still carrying it, but that final night when he had rapped, he was choking me to death. And I began to pray and ask God not to let me die like this, because no one knew this, Sheba, not one person. And I knew, had my mother found out I was living like this, she would have blamed herself. She would have thought I should have seen the signs. And so I began to pray, not just for God to save my life for me, I prayed that God would save my life to spare my mother.
Wow.
And so I made that deal with God. If you save my life this time, I'm out. And so I kept my promise. I laid low for about 2 or 3 weeks as I was creating my exit strategy. I would stay at work till 2 and 3 o'clock in the morning and then, pretend I was asleep when he left in the morning so I could figure things out. And once I left, I was gone. There was no looking back.
Wow, and you clearly have never looked back. Thank you so much for sharing your story. It is so important to have powerful and successful women tell the things they've been through and survived. So thank you for being here and for being honest.
And don't forget that at www.idon'tfixcrazy.com, they can get a free chapter.
All right, girl. I want them to find
themselves. Yeah, I want them to find themselves. It's important for them, for a reader who's listening to this, because she's not going to admit it. So I want her to quietly go to www.idon'tfixcrazy.com, get the free chapter, and see if she can find herself in my story.
Certainly. All right. Your voice is so strong. Thank you for being here, for sharing it with us. For more information on the book, The Six-Figure Battered Wife, and to get that free chapter, again, visit idon'tfixcrazy.com. All right. Well, stay with us. We'll be right back after the break.